My name is Narendra Haynes. I'm an interdisciplinary artist, and my practice was kind of born out of this collaboration with mealworm beetles. I discovered this research that was being done that mealworm beetles can metabolize and decompose styrofoam. They have a special enzymes in their digestive system that can break down the long carbon chains that make these synthetic materials and turn it into an organic material. And I thought that would be a very interesting process to kind of make a sculpture with, like a kind of time-based sculpture. So I collected 3 styrofoam coolers from a fish market, actually right here in Chinatown, Philadelphia. I stacked them into like this kind of column or broken column, and I set the mealworms loose. Ever since then, it's been just kind of like an explosion, a slow explosion of growth and expansion surrounding this transformative step that I took. In this consciousness that is very much centered on our kind of very toxic waste practices, this collection of these throwaway, styrofoam materials that are ubiquitous. I think I did the math once and discovered that if we took all the styrofoam we create in a single year and layered it, it would cover this entire country, the entire country of the United States, in like a 3-foot surface of styrofoam. Through this process, I'm very attuned to and concerned with waste. But as an artist, we are always producing waste as well, and I wanted to be an artist that made work that was about reducing waste and not producing more. So as I started to collaborate with this insect and it started to consume the styrofoam, it actually excretes. It takes several digestive cycles for it to transform the material into like this kind of organic earth substance. And what it's doing is it's eating a solid piece of styrofoam and excreting first this like styrofoam powder, and then it eats that again. It becomes a little less styrofoam. Then they eat that again, and each time they eat it, it becomes a little less styrofoam and a little bit more earth. So I realized I had this byproduct that was this kind of spectrum of material that was synthetic and organic, kind of between those two polarities. And I thought, this is a really interesting phenomenon. What can I do with it? So I reoriented my painting process around this material and basically started to create paintings that were kind of about landscape for me. It was really about kind of collapsing this notion of sky and earth, of above and below. First by like painting these kind of skyscapes or sky scenes in watercolor to convey that kind of luminosity, and then using acrylic to like just kind of smear over that this like dense material earth substance that I then pressed in this spectrum of actual earth and actual plastic and their intermediary points, the spectrum, to create this kind of patina of this powder on this landscape. I've been aware of Rare since I moved to Philadelphia in 2018, and I was always very interested in wanting to be a resident there. I mean, as somebody who deals with waste in their work, that's a very ripe source of material for myself. So the story of this work is I was doing a residency at Rare, which is an artist residency on a Superfund site that includes a recycling center and then also this living meadow. So what I decided to do was collect the styrofoam that I could find in this meadow, polluting it, and use it as a material to sculpt my own meadow, which was a new step for me. I never really sculpted the styrofoam before. I let the mealworms sculpt the styrofoam. I just arranged it. And I titled it The Field of Preflection, with this idea that this was an image of a meadow, but it was collected from the pollution in an existing meadow. The mealworms' contribution, their activity, is to decompose this toxic substance, turn it into an earth substance that could sustain life. And what I want to do is take the substance that is created in this sculpture and use it to grow a living meadow again. So the preflection is this idea of kind of the future possibility of what this can become being reflected in its negative form here, which is then kind of being reduced to 0 point, just the earth, and then growing into its positive form, which is a living meadow. And that to me, I think indicates this reorientation of what I'm trying to move towards as opposed to what I'm trying to move away from.